Hello, 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 everyone. How's it going? Welcome to Getting Started with Data Visualization Part 1. We'll wait for a couple of seconds, couple of minutes maybe, for folks to join. And let me introduce myself quickly. My name is UT. I am from MLH, and I don't remember which GHW is this of mine. There've been a lot, but it just feels good to be back with another session where I'm going to learn from you. I'm going to teach you some bits and pieces, maybe, hopefully help you. But at the same time, just want to have some, let's enjoy together, learn together, help each other out, and just have some fun. Okay. So with that, I welcome you all to my session. Hopefully, GHW has been enjoyable so far. I was just watching Vinayak's stream of uh, prompt engineering. I think that was good. What did I miss? Just join? Nothing actually. You just joined and you haven't missed anything because even I just joined. Yeah, just joined. Don't worry. Don't worry. We haven't started anything. Okay. Okie doke. So let me actually do one quick thing. Just set up my system in a way. Okay. So, uh, hey, hi. Uh, what are we going to do? Now, this is an overview that I have written down here, but I will talk about it in some time. Like, give us, like, let's say 30 seconds more, let people join, and then we can go ahead from there. Meanwhile, uh, I will just share the registration link so that people who have not yet like registered, they can quickly register. Okay, so I've shared the registration link. If you have not registered for the session yet, please do register. Helps us keep track, and I think helps you get points. Okay, so okay, I'm all set up. I think we have loads of people here, which is good enough for me. And let's now get started. So, what are we going to do? Now, this diagram here, it actually gives you a general overview of what I'm going to do, but let's dive deep into it a bit and let's just talk about things that we are going to do in this three-part session. Okay, so this is part one, which will be like 2 hours long. We'll have a 1 hour break and then we'll have part two. So I'm here with you for like 4 hours at least today. And then tomorrow, I will have another session, part three of this session, which will be the final part. And what are we going to do? So, right now, the things that I have planned is number one, we'll talk about data scraping. So, when I say talk about data scraping, I mean, uh, I won't show you the exact code of doing it because I've done that stream in the past, like I think a couple of times, at least 2 or 3 times. So I will point you to that direction, but I'll talk you about how I was able to get this data. The name of the data is like companiesdata.csv, which I will share with you on Discord. So if you have joined Discord, the MLH channel where I just posted the announcement, I will share the data, the CSV file directly there. So please make sure that you have joined the MLH Discord. And yeah, once I've shared that, then we'll talk about what visualizations we will do. Can we get a link? I will share the link to the Discord channel. So it would be easy basically for everyone. Uh, okay, so what are we going to use? We are going to use some popular libraries out there like matplotlib, seaborn, and even plotly. We will talk about how to set that up, and we will actually, I forgot to add one quick thing here, should have added that, is we will also have Streamlit. Okay. So if you don't know about Streamlit, like what is it and what does it do or anything like that, don't worry. I will talk about it today. So Streamlit is going to be kind of a web app. I wouldn't say exactly web app, but helps us convert our Python code from running on, let's say, your terminal to running on the web. Okay. So think of it as Jupyter Notebook, but much more good looking. So that's what we are going to use. We are going to wrap our whole code in Streamlit so we can actually see the output on web for it. And uh, yeah, I will uh, talk to you about it. I'll show you how to do it. And if you want to code along with me, I always do in all of my sessions, like I always do this in all of my sessions. I request you all to create an account on Replit. Okay, it's not necessary if you already have a Python environment set on your machine, on your local machine, but it is just really good. I feel like Replit is the quickest way to get started whenever you want to learn something quickly and not spend too much time in setting your development environment. So I would request you uh, to please create a Replit account, and it is very easy. Like you click on sign up or sign in if you already have an account. It asks you, would you like to sign up with Google or GitHub? And just click on that. One more click, and that's it. Okay, it's that easy and it's that simple. So I always request you to create an account on Replit. If you see my recent repls, like all GHW repls and all my sessions have gone on Replit. Okay, just makes it very easy. And I don't think we have any tie-ups with Ripple. So this is like my personal preference. So not coming from Major League Hacking, but it's coming from me. Uh, okay, so I've shared the link in the chat to Replit. I've shared the link in chat about registration, and let's get started. Okay, so step one, let me share the file on Discord. Uh, Okay, there are like multiple channels. So I'm going to first share it in the announcements. Yep. GHW announcements, upload a file quickly. Uh, Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, got the link and it's in the chat. Okay, hopefully this link should be enough. It's in the chat, and I will also upload this quickly on the AI ML week of Global Hack Week. Okay, so I have shared both the links on Discord. So if you can, it's on Discord announcements channel, and it's also on the AI ML. We don't have permission to follow that Discord. Do you need to follow it to download it? Don't think so. Okay, downloaded it. It's fine. Perfect. I've also shared another link directly to the chat. Uh, so like both of those links should work. Like it's the same data, and just like uploaded at two different places. Okay. So folks who have downloaded it fine, well, that is good, and I'm really happy about that. Now, if you have downloaded it, like let me just quickly see one thing. I have removed Replit from there. Just want to check one quick thing before we move on. Don't want to get doxed when I try to upload some files. So give me 1 second. Upload a file, and yep, that's all good. Perfect. So what do we have to download from this chat link? There is a file that I have just uploaded. Okay, it's called as companies underscore data.csv. There's a download button right there, which you can click to download the file. I will also, I don't think, can I add image here? Nope, I don't think so. We could do this locally, right? Yes, you can. I wouldn't be, sorry, unfortunately, I wouldn't be helping right now to set up the local environment. So if you already have one, feel free to do it. Feel free to go for it and do it locally. Right now, I want to get started quickly, which is why I recommend Replit. But totally on you. If you have done it before, if you have done Python before, you have an environment set up on your machine, go for it. Definitely. I want to use Collab. I don't think it would be possible in Collab. Reason being, the way you show the images, it is different on Collab versus different on Replit. I mean, the difference would be that let's say you want to show a figure, the code that I'm going to use will actually show it on a web page. But Collab is more like a Jupyter notebook, if I'm not wrong, which means that you would see the output inline. That would require certain tweaks here and there, which even I'm like, not aware from the top of my head. So even I'll have to Google, like, okay, what do you do if you want to do this or do that? Yeah, so it would be difficult for me, unfortunately, to guide you correctly at the moment notice, but I can Google it and let you know what could be done. Okay, so I hope you all have the files downloaded on your local machine. It's coming from, like, I've uploaded it on Discord. You can find it on Discord. Just have to download it. And now let's go and create a ripple. So there are multiple ways to do that. I normally go on to, okay, not here. I go on somewhere, which, yeah, templates. Wow, they changed it. Okay, if you go onto the templates, which is on the left hand side, Discord link not working. It shows no text channels. Yeah, I think the link should have worked. Okay. Uh, just to take away the whole headache, I uploaded it to this file.io, and hopefully that should allow you to download it. Okay. Just have to download it. Click on download file and you can download it very quickly. Should have, like, I just Googled right now, where can I upload a file quickly? So this is the data and invitation link. Interesting. No worries. Sorry for any trouble. And yep, this looks good. You can join the MLH Discord server by going on this link. Okay. Uh, for everyone else, this is the link to the file. And if you have not joined the Major League Hacking Discord channel yet, please join it via this. And let's begin. Okay, let's go on to templates. Let's go on, okay, Replit, and then click on the templates option. Once you go on templates, search for Python. It says file, deleted file in the link. What? Who deleted it? Wow, interesting. I'll upload it again. Wow. Okay, there's another link right there. Should expires on February 24th. Pretty sure we are too far from that. Files will be deleted after download. Oh, for every person who downloads it, it will get deleted. Interesting. I never thought that's going to happen. That's pretty stupid. Don't you think? Yeah. Try this. Wow, I'm spending like 15 minutes just doing this. Perfect. Please don't delete this file. Someone, anyone, everyone. I know it saves space for them, but it's just like, well, should wait till like the time that you said that you will wait till. Okay, another link has been shared, and yeah, we will create a replit. There's also this link which directly goes to the file. And now let's go on to templates. Okay, search templates, search for Python. And we are going to use the first template, which has like this 4.1K likes and 45.5 million forks or copies. So I'll click on the use template option right here. Also, let me just go away from the screen so that you can focus solely on the screen. Okay, use template, give it a name. Uh, the name that I'm going to give it is GHW Python Visualization. Okay. Uh, yeah, and give it a quick description. GHW AI ML week Python visualization. Uh, okay, I mean, US versus UK spelling difference, but you just click on the use template option. Now, anyone who wants to follow along, I am going to share the Replit link in the chat. I think it's a public REPL. So if I actually go on to incognito, paste that link, yep, it should open it for you. So you can see all the files that will get created here. Okay. So any file that I create will be available on this link, and any code that I write will be available here. So you can copy paste it. That would be easiest and quickest to do. Copy paste it. Uh, if you're not able to follow along or you missed out something. Now, before I go further, let me try and upload the file that I downloaded. So click on the three dots, I think called as kebab menu, and upload files, upload a file. And this is the file that I have uploaded. So let me just reduce the size of this. And as you can see, this is the data. Now, this is the data of top 1,000 companies based on their market cap, or like let's say their uh, what can I say, the money that they have. I wouldn't say physical money, but more like how much are they worth. Yeah, this is the easiest way to put it. How much are they worth? And this is like top 1,000 companies. And as on 1st of January 2024. So they have certain things in the data. You can find certain things. There's ranking, there's the name of the company, there's market cap. Yeah, valuation is other way to talk about it. Yes, valuation, or how much are they valued, how much are they worth. Then there's a stock ticker. So double APL, MSFT, quadruple two. So that is a stock ticker. If you want to find this company on uh, their respective stock market, you can find them with this ticker. The country that they are from, so let's say United States right here, the sector in which they operate, and the industry in which they operate. Okay, so we have the following things in the CSV file. There's ranking, there's company, market cap in US dollars, the stock ticker, the country they are from or origin, or where they are uh, registered, where their registered headquarters are, let's say, the sector that they operate in, and the industry that they focus on. How did I upload? Yep, I will go over it, but this is what the data is right now. So for uploading, you click on this three dots option right here, upload file, and select the file and upload it. Okay. Oh yeah, right. Wow. Should have done that. Even I just realized that. And could have saved us like 15 minutes. If anyone who has still not downloaded the data, they can go in and down. Oh, use template. Okay, you're a bit far behind. So I'll just quickly, for your convenience, go over it. So if you go on the home page, go on the templates option, which is on the left hand side. I will also share that link right here. Then in the templates, search templates, you can search for Python. Click on use template, give it a name, a description, and then click on this use template. And once you have done that, it will automatically create a template or create a Python template, which will have few things installed. You can see those installed things in, like, let's say, Poetry Lock and dot replet and bunch of other things. And I've uploaded the data of companies underscore data.csv in the template that we have created. Okay, nothing much, nothing more than that. I've also shared the link directly to the template. So once you create your own, you can just copy paste the data. So like if I go to incognito, not logged in, and if you search that, you can find the data, and you can just do a control A or command A, control C, command C, go over to your template, paste it. I think there was another question Will the resources be reshared on Rapid? I'm experiencing network challenges here. Yes, they will be. They will remain here, and also at any point, all the sessions are recorded, so they will be available on YouTube for you to watch later and follow along later. I also normally put my code on GitHub, which I'll share on day 3, because once everything is complete, I'll share the whole code. I don't want people to run ahead. Okay, and also there's one more thing that I keep telling people, that even if you know these things, I would appreciate if you stick around and help others who don't. Okay, that way is both of you learn. Like everyone learns, even I learn a bit. You help the community in one way. Okay, moving on. So now for this data. Now, how did I collect this data? I actually, normally there are multiple places you can get the data from. One of the most popular places is, let's say, Kaggle. Okay, you can download data sets from here. Uh, like that's one. Let's say I want the data that I just put, like, what top companies based on market cap. Let's say I search for something like this, and there's bunch of data that have been uploaded. Let's say I want CSV files, so stock market data, Nifty, top global companies by market capitalization. So this was the data that I kind of wanted. So rank, company name, company code, market cap, stock price, origin flag, country. So this is kind of the kind of data that I wanted. uh, but at the same time, I was not initially, like, let's say you are not initially sure about, okay, is this data very recent, how recent it is. So you can actually, read about it here if you want. So like this is like 2024 data, annually updated 12 days ago. So you can download exactly this data. Big download button right here to download it. But also the other thing that you could do, and which I would say that you could do, but please read the terms and conditions of the website before doing it, is web scraping the data. Okay. Now I would say that I did web scrape the data from somewhere. I'm not going to reveal from where and the code for it. But if you want to learn about web scraping, you could actually see the previous streams that I have done. Uh, I can share a link to the web scraping sessions that I have done in the past. Let me just quickly share that. And meanwhile, I'll also answer this question. The scope of the stream. The scope of the stream is going to be focusing on how to do data visualization using Python. We are going to look at bunch of libraries, and yeah, just visualize the data, the companies underscore data.csv file that I have just uploaded. Visualize that data, and yeah, I mean that's mostly it. If it gets over before like part 3, then we'll upload new data and visualize that data as well. We'll also talk about like how to visualize, and or what to think when you're trying to visualize data. Like, what should you do? How would this data be perfectly understandable to someone who is new to it? So I've shared a link to one of my past streams where I talk about how to scrape data. You can find bunch of more uh, data scraping videos on MLH channel or even out in the open. Okay, I think, yep, this is another one that I had done. Hopefully they're not the same. Nope, doesn't look same. Okay, another session that I had done which talks about data scraping initially, or and shows how to scrape data, and then moves on to build something else. But you can watch the data scraping part. So, uh, As I said, I had scraped this data, and if you look at the data, you can actually find where I scraped it from. uh, Solely based on top 1,000 companies based on market capitalization. If you search that, you'll find bunch of websites and you'll know instantly where I scraped the data from. But without any further ado, now let's get into building something. Two different links, yeah, because two different sessions on data scraping. Like I had done two different sessions on data scraping, which is why uh, two videos, and that's why I'm not doing data scraping right now, because I've already done it in the past. Oops, my bad. Let's move on to building something. So step one, we'll actually start with Streamlit. Okay, let me share the link to Streamlit right here. So what is Streamlit? It turns your data scripts into shareable web apps in minutes, all in pure Python, no front end experience required, which is why I kind of love it. Okay, like look at this example, the example video that they show. There's like import Streamlit as st.write, and then writing something more in Markdown because one hash. Okay, let's pause here. So like one single hash means a headline, and on the right you can see that it becomes bold and big like a h1 tag from html, so a headline. Then without anything, like without any hash, this becomes more of a small text or paragraph, and on the right hand side you can see that exactly. Now there's some, let's say, magic code written right here, but you can see the data that's being visualized. Okay, you can see it on the web, and that's why I kind of like Streamlit. Okay, you can actually, we like MLH has a tie up, hackp.ac/Streamlit, I think. I can quickly find that link for you if I can. And like MLH has a tie-up with Streamlit, so there's also another link, but more or less you still go on to the same website. Okay, so that was just a quick disclaimer there that MLH has a tie-up. So there's Streamlit, makes it very easy, makes it very simple. You can see your data scripts into web apps, and they have bunch of components. Okay, like so many of them that you can use that are built. And if you go over to their docs, you can actually see stuff like things somewhere they have, like if you want to do a write, if you want data elements like data frames that could be visualized on the web, if you want, let's say, input widgets, like you can have a button by just doing st.button click me, download button, go to gallery, select box, multi select. If I just wait for it to load, like look at this multi select green, like you get the whole UI, but like by just writing a few things and just adding this library. Okay, and you don't need to have front end experience, just understanding where would this look good. So I'm not going to focus too much on where would this look good or how would this look good, but use it to show that yes, it could be done. We'll actually use slider. Okay, uh, okay, there's a question, we have to install it. Yes, if you're working in local environment, you have to use something called like you'll have to write pip install. So if I go over to Streamlit documentation or the PyPy repository, this is the line that you have to copy and run. But if you are on Replit, you don't have to do it because Replit does it for you. So let's go over the documentation. Initially you have to do import Streamlit as st. Okay, that's for the first line. So I'm going to write that import Streamlit as st. Okay. Next, I am going to create a main function. So also, I'm assuming that you have some experience with Python, but you don't really need to. So that word def, it's a keyword which says uh, definition or define a function here. Okay, so a keyword which tells that this, you can think of this as a variable. So def main means define a function called as main, and empty brackets means that it does not take any parameter or any inputs. And to define a function, you actually like kind of write it this way, but instead of calling it main, it could be like a b c d e f, whatever. But from a convention perspective, you can, like, you should call it main, let's say. Step 2, we will say it has a title. So st.title. So what is st? So I'm saying that import Streamlit and rename it as st, because writing Streamlit every time is going to be very cumbersome. So I'll like Streamlit.title, Streamlit.this, Streamlit.that. It's just very cumbersome. Okay. So that is why you give it a short form, which in this case is st. So st.title, and I will say company data visualization. Uh, okay, and now I'm going to click on this big orange or green, whatever color your button is. Once you do that, on the right hand side in the console, you will see that it starts adding Streamlit. Okay, Poetry add Streamlit. So it starts to install automatically, or as I like to say, automagically. So normally, if you're working on local environment, you will run this particular command, this pip install Streamlit in your terminal or in your command line, which in this case would be, let's say, this shell. Okay, that's where you will run it. But in our case, because we are using Replit, and because Replit is kind of magic, it automatically installs any library which it sees that I'm importing but have not installed it previously. Quick question there in the chat: how did you open the console? So if you click on that orange/green button, it will automatically open. But if it doesn't open, on the left hand side, you can see a list of tools, and in that there is console. So if you double click on it, it will open on the right hand side. It automatically opens. You don't have to open it. Just click on the big red/orange/green run button. Okay, once it starts running, you will not actually see anything. Okay, the reason being, Streamlit does not work this way, uh, in the sense that to run Streamlit application, you have to do something else. You have to use the keyword Streamlit to actually run it. So I'm going to go over to my shell. Before that, I'm going to just reload this page. Perfect. Okay, so to run a Streamlit application, you write Streamlit. Let's first talk about how do you run a Python application. Normally, you would do Python space the name of the file, which in this case is, let's say, main.py. This is how you run a Python file. You add the keyword Python and then the name of the file, and that's how you will run it. There was nothing in this, so it didn't print anything. Let's running Python. Let's also do something on the console. So I reran this command and it printed out what I had written here. Okay, so that's how you run a Python application or run a file using Python. But with Streamlit, you do Streamlit run and the name of the file. In this case, the name of the file is main.py, and you hit enter. Once you hit enter, let's like wait, and it says welcome to Streamlit. Leave this field blank. I'm going to just hit enter, and it says okay, it has started. But where has it started? Where is it? Where can I find the output of this? uh, so like when I was preparing for this session, I realized that you have to like click on this run button as well once, and then it opens the web view. Okay, like click on it and make sure that you open it in a new tab. Like be very quick about it. Click on the run button and then click on open in new tab, and you can actually see uh, the Streamlit output there on a new tab. Okay, now we have written this st.title, but we haven't called it, which is why there's nothing here. Yep, very good shout right there. We haven't called this. So how do we call it? Multiple ways to do it, but we'll go with what's a standard. Like how do you actually call, let's say, a main function? So there is a very simple way to do it. If underscore name double equals to underscore main, which basically means that if someone is running this particular file, then please call the main function. You could have also done just like main, and that should have worked as well. But let's go with the standard. So this is what I wrote. And if you see right here, there is some space left. Okay, that is called as indentation. So Python does not believe in the idea of brackets. Okay, it believes in the idea of indentation or spaces. So when you add this colon and you hit enter, it will automatically leave some space before that. And that's where you type your code. Question: how did you open the web? You have to click on this run button, and then there should be a open in new tab button. That's what you need to do. So now if you have done that and you open it, you can see the text that's written here, company data visualization, right here. Okay, so I think that takes away most of the hard work of adding Streamlit. If you're doing it on your local environment, what I would say is run pip install Streamlit. Once you have done that, please make sure that your main Python file is called as main.py. And all you have to do is then once Streamlit is installed, Streamlit run main.py. Okay. Step one is this. Step two is this. Now I don't have the button for web. Uh, I'm confused. So do you not see this new tab option? Do you have the web view open? Like, is the web view open? If it's not open, you can actually find the web view, I think, in the tools. Okay. So all you need to do is like drag and drop it. I already have it open, so that's why it's not dragging and dropping it. But you can drag and drop it anywhere, and you'll have the web view. Okay. Uh, yeah, if you have that, you can also search for web view right here. Once you open the web view, then you can click on the run button and then click on the new tab option. So remember, like it used to be easy on Replit before to actually open it, but I don't know what changed, because I remember in my previous stream I had done something. I'll have to go back and look at it. Like, you did not have to do that before, but somehow I realized that it doesn't work anymore normally. So you have to kind of do that, click on run button, open a new tab. Once you have opened it, then everything works fine. Okay. So that's st.title, and we have written some text, which is good. Okay, moving on. Uh, Sorry to others. I know it's taking a bit of time, but hey, every learning is a good learning. Now, there's another thing that I want you to do is, like, first remove this print line, of course. I'll also minimize this side. I'll also minimize this as much as possible. I want the layout. So by default, the Streamlit layout, it's like if you go on here, I think if you go on settings, the appearance is by default a very minimized or constricted version. Okay, it's like center aligned, but I like the wide view. So if you click on wide view, you can see like the company data visualization is like aligning to the left hand side. I like that because it gives me the whole screen space. So you can do it by adding something like a st dot set underscore page underscore config, and inside that you can say layout equals to wide. Okay, this is the line that I'm adding, and it needs to be like on the top of the page. Okay, just below the import. It needs to be on top of the page, just below the import. Why? Because if you put like, that's how Streamlit talks about it. It says that it needs to be the first thing on your page. If you try to set it like inside the main function or something, you go here and on the top right you can see a rerun button. It will say can only be called once per page and must be called as the first Streamlit command in your application. So if you do it like this, like on line number 5 and then the st.title line number 6, that would work, but it's just inside a main function. I would prefer that it is directly just under the import. Okay, because anyone who's looking at the code, they will automatically see that this is a configuration that you are setting up on the page at the top, right at the top. Okay, so yeah, that's like my personal preference. And once you have done that, you can click on rerun and nothing has changed. It's just like layout is going to be wide by default. Okay, moving on. What's next? So the next thing is going to be uh, let's create the whole data frame option. Okay, so what is a data frame? Or even before that, let's actually create another function which we will call as read, load, and process CSV. So I create a function on line number 6. I'm writing it load and process CSV. Okay, load and process CSV, it will take an input. Okay, this time I want it to take an input. The input is going to be file path. Okay, so it will take an input which we'll call it as file path. And what is it going to do? So I'm going to add a quick comment here. It will say that load CSV file and process the, what's the name of this, market cap USD column. Okay, so this is a comment that I'm putting just so that we can understand it later, like what is this function doing. Okay, below this comment, I'm now going to write the code. I will say, I'll create a variable, we'll call it df, and that is going to use something called as pandas. But we have not installed the pandas library. So let's add a line to install it. I have it open actually, pandas. So how do you do it? If you can look at, like, you can install it by running this particular command. So for anyone who's doing the development on local, you can run this particular command uh, to install pandas. I think if I go into its documentation, getting started, pip install. Okay, import pandas as PD. That's one thing to do. And how do I do a read CSV? There is something called as pandas.read CSV, which will read a CSV file, which is what we have. So let's go back. So step one, we first need to do, uh, like we need to install pandas, but thanks to Replit, we don't have to install it. So I'm just going to go directly into the import part, which is import pandas as PD. Okay, so let's do import pandas as PD. Also, actually, let me also quickly show, like if you had to install it in Replit, like you don't want the auto magic to work. What you would do is just like copy this line, go over to your shell. Okay, it needs to go on the shell. Do a control C to stop the Streamlit running. You can write clear and hit enter to clear the shell. Paste that pip install pandas, hit enter. So it needs to go on shell and you have to install it. In my case, it seems to me that we have already installed pandas. Uh, okay, let me go over to the chat. It works now. How do you see the title data visualization? By setting this st.title, you can see that. Okay, inside the main function, and you have to call the main function. Uh, Hi, I'm here. What's going on? What's going on? We are actually building a, we are learning how to do data visualization in Python. You can find the code that I have written till now on this Replit link. Uh, you can view it, I think, without creating an account. But if you want to follow along, please create an account on replit.com. It's very easy to create an account. You have to like once you have created an account and once you have added the data, and how can you add the data? You can just like, yeah, go over to this REPL. uh, Let me actually go over to incognito and show. So if you go over and you'll find like main.py, which has some code written. You go over to companies underscore data, do a command A or control A, command C, control C, or you can also do a fork and run. Okay, that's also uh, one way to get the code that I have written till now. Okay, there's do we need to rerun if you want to see the changes in the Streamlit web page? You don't need to rerun. So like there's two reruns. Number one, if you want to see the whole web view, okay, click on this run button. It opens the web view and click on this new tab. Oh, I have stopped the Streamlit app from running. So let me just run that again. Streamlit run main.py. So if your Streamlit app is running, then you have to click on this run button, open it in a new tab. And once you open it in a new tab, you can actually see the output. Okay. Now, every time you make a change in the code, like let's say company data visualization dash 2, this is what I've written. Okay. If you go over to Streamlit, it will give you this hint, like, do you want to rerun? You can click on this rerun button right here, or you can just do a refresh, like Control R or Command R. Okay, indentation error. What did I do? Oh, pass. Okay, something has changed. It gives you this hint. Source file has changed. Do you want to rerun? You can click on that, or you can do a Control R or Command R to refresh the page. Okay, and this particular error which says that couldn't reach, make sure that in your shell, okay, this is your shell. In your shell, you have run this command and it is running. Will the recording of this session be posted on Discord or YouTube immediately or later? It would be actually immediately, like it's live recording, so it is available on YouTube right now as well. So you can watch it from YouTube, or it would stay basically there. Uh, in the second session, I can like give you the link to the recording of first session. Okay, so yeah, now every time you make a change here, like let's say I want to remove the dash 2, I go over to Streamlit, it will know that something has changed. You can click on rerun, you can click on always rerun, which will remove that headache, or you can just do a Control R or Command R to refresh the page, and that will get the latest data. Perfect. So now coming back, sorry. So DF. So I need to read a CSV file. Now multiple ways to read a file in Python. The best way is to use pandas. So I am renaming my pandas as PD. So anywhere I am saying like PD dot something, it means PD is pandas. Pandas dot. Now pandas has a method read underscore CS, not CSV. Okay. Now I found that sometimes this is very annoying with respect to Replit, that it does not show what this method does. But I can tell you what it does is it asks you for the file path. Okay, now it's giving me hint, like it needs a file path. Okay, that's very important. So let's give it the file path. Now, where is the file path coming from? It's coming as input to this function. So I'm passing that directly to my read CSV. And once you have read that CSV, what am I going to do? Now I can do like loads of things here, but can we show this data somehow to the user, let's say? Okay, like can we show this data on Streamlit application, like outside as an output or something? So let's see if there is something like something to show data available on Streamlit. Yes. So there is a st.data frame which can help us to see the data. Okay. So all it does is it needs to first, like, this is basically saying read the data. So, and store it in a variable called as df. And then we are saying that st.data frame, the whole df, or you can also use st.write df to see the output right here. Let's try that. So from my load and process CSV, we have df equals to pd.read CSV. Once that is done, return df. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Return the output of this variable. Let's come to our main function. And here I am going to say that there is another variable. Now this is, you can say like this is df new, and df new is nothing but calling this function and giving it a file path. Now what is my file path? My file is located in the same directory that I am currently working in. So all I have to do, or like the easiest way to do it, is inside double inverted commas, just give companies underscore data dot csv. You don't have to do anything, just tell it that hey, this is where you get the file. It's in the same folder as this current file, this main.py. So you don't have to go out searching for it somewhere. Once that is done, all we have to do is st dot, what was it, data frame. Yep, st dot data frame of df, which in this case is this particular variable df new. Let's go over here. It says source file changed, rerun. I'm going to say rerun. Let's hope it comes back, and yes, it does. Okay, this is the data that we got. There's like, if you see, there's like 1,000 data, like up to rank 1,000. So there's like 1,000 rows of data. Also, if you hover over it, you will see there's an option to download it as a CSV. There's also an option to search something. There's an option to make it full screen. So I'm going to make it full screen. Now, if you remember from the data, we had ranking column, company, market cap, USD, stock, country, sector, industry. What is this empty column? Where is it coming from? So this column is being added by pandas, saying that, oh, it seems like you don't have an index column. So let me create one for you. So pandas is being smart and doing it. And sometimes I like smartness, but in this case, we already have a ranking column, which can be our ID column or our index column. Okay. So let's tell pandas that thank you so much for your smartness, but right now I don't really need it. I have my own column to like which can act as the index column. Okay, so not dissing pandas right here, but more like I don't really need it right now. So I will say that my index call, I'll go over to my this line number 9 where I'm reading the CSV. And I'm going to say the 0th column, that is my index column. So yeah, let's come over here and rerun it. Now it gives me a very weird error, key error warnings. Okay, now this has nothing to do with index column or pandas or anything. It is Streamlit. Okay, this is when I like, when I was preparing for this session, I realized that if you reload it again, the error goes away. But every time you make even a smallest of change, Streamlit does something and it deletes a file. Okay, how do I show that to you? Let me remove this index call. Go over here, rerun it, and it, like, it has nothing to do with index call, but it does something. It actually deletes this sys module warnings. Okay, on every rerun, Streamlit deletes this file which exists somewhere, which is what causes this warnings error. So to resolve that, okay, the hack is, uh, step 1, you need to import warnings. You don't have to install warnings. It is like, I think, comes pre-installed in a way. And once that is done, you have to do warnings dot filter warnings ignore, not warnings. So import warnings and warnings dot filter warnings ignore. So now if I rerun this, it won't give me the error. But also if I add the index call equals to 0 back, and rerun it, I will still not get the error. So I hope you get the difference. And now let's, as you can see, now we no longer have that ID call, like an empty column, because now we have told pandas explicitly that I already have an index column, which is the ranking column or the zeroth column. Take that as an index column and don't create your own, and we get the data. Now interestingly, or like very good thing about this is that you can, let's say, click on a stock, okay, and it sorts it, okay, alphabetically. Country, you can sort it by country, like just clicking on that column header will allow you sorting it. Sort by, let's say, like alphabetically by sector, sort it alphabetically by industry. I would prefer the ranking, of course. And if you click on it thrice, it removes the sorting. uh, but yeah, a good thing, we have a table which can be sorted easily, and we didn't have to write any code to do that, like except for loading the data frame, but that's it. Okay, bunch of questions in the chat. I'm going to go over one by one. Can you please show where to write which code, like before main or after main? So my main is like line number 16 to line number 19. I have written this function between like 10 to 13 here, and then I'm calling it like here. So some code is inside the main function, some is outside, but everything is in the same file. Okay. Anytime you are facing any questions, I would say please, 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 very humble request, check this link. And if you reload it, like wait for like 30 seconds and then reload it, you should have my code. So if I go over to incognito, search for that link, as you can see, it has all the code that I've written. So like just wait for 30 seconds and you can have it. I don't mind answering, but it would be very easy for you to find it. Okay, warnings, what? So let's just say that Streamlit actually deletes a file, internal file, whenever you reload the page. And we don't want to see that error that it gives us. So that is why I'm going to say, or not error, it's a warning that it gives us saying that, hey, if someone deleted the file. I haven't, you haven't, no one has, somehow it gets deleted. So that's why we have written this particular line saying that if you get that warning, don't show it to me. Okay. Don't show it to the user. That's it. It's a warning. It's not an error. Don't show it to me. That's what these two lines here mean. Okay. We have like been streaming for like 1 hour approximately. I think it's a good time to take a very quick break. uh, and like I think is like 10 minutes good enough break? Just go out, have some water, eat something, stretch yourselves, and after 10 minutes we'll be back. Meanwhile, before I go on break, any questions, anyone? Anything, anyone? Okay, I'm assuming the yes is for let's a 10 minutes break. uh, and perfect. uh, Sorry, that was mistake, but I hope you have everything. Will we have a project? uh, Sorry, what? I am confused about the question. During this course, will we elaborate anything? uh yeah, we are going to build this whole system where like we have loaded the CSV, but we'll also like visualize it. In Python, I'm going to elaborate more on the visualization aspect, but not too much on how Python works or something. And like let's just talk about this specific error that we were getting, or the specific warning. That is just Streamlit being very different, and Streamlit with Replit being very different. So if you find, like if you search for this error, you will find that it only occurs on Replit with Streamlit. So that's why people suggested that, just ignore the warning and there would be no error. So this is nothing to do with Python, it's just Replit and Streamlit thing. That's why I did not elaborate on it. Okay, so I think that's good enough. Let's quickly take a 10 minutes break and I leave. Wow, why is this not? Oh, scroll across the bottom. Yep. Okay. And I'll leave this right here. How Streamlit make this more helpful? Uh, Makes it look good. Okay, so once we actually move on, when we start visualizing, you'll find how it makes it more useful for us, or more good looking. Okay, there's a question here. Is it only me, or does it require you to pay in order to deploy the WebView? It does require you to pay, like deploy the WebView. That's why we are not deploying it. Once we actually go on further, you'll find that we can have tabs to select between which WebView we want to see. And you'll find a bunch of other things. Coming from college, so I just joined the sessions. And what is Streamlit and why we are using it when we have Google Colab and Jupyter Notebook? Yeah, we can do it there. But just like the way we have Jupyter Notebook as an option, we have Streamlit as an option. I want you to explore some other uh, library as well. Like Jupyter Notebook is a library, right? You have explored that, you have worked with that. So this is another library that I think would be very good to explore. And also, you can share. Like I'm not sure. Also, yeah, I think for the pricing, like the cloud pricing, I'm not sure. Oh, you can actually deploy it for free. I don't know where you're getting the paid option. I'll have to check that, unfortunately. But I think you can deploy a bunch of things for free. Okay, so you can deploy what you have built today for free. Seems to me. Okay, I hope I've answered a bunch of questions. Let me like increase the break time because you won't have enough break. So now we'll be back at 25 20. Okay. Yep. No worries. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Till then, this is the code. Now we'll look at it. This is all that we have written. Thank you. Hello, hello, hello. And I'm back. So let me just move this banner right here. Okay, so we have like around 50 minutes before I have to end the stream. And I'll be back. Actually, wait, my stream next. I can stay here. That was good. Perfect. But we'll still try and end it up at like 1 p.m. GMT so that we have enough time to have lunch or dinner. Okay, so, any questions? It doesn't show the complete recent code for me. Okay, let me see. If I take this link and go over, wait for it to load. Okay, it does not show the warnings code. I wonder why that is. Wait, let me see. If I can stop this from running, and oops, what did I open? Did I open? Yep, that's bad. Perfect. There we go. And let me reload this. I think that requires me to what? Frequently reload? Is that it? Hopefully it's not the case, but let's see. That's there. And now if I do a hard refresh, interesting. I mean, there's other code here, but for some reason this code is not here. Let me see if I do a empty cache and hard reload. Hmm. I am not too sure why is that happening. Apologies for that. So let me just quickly share that here. Oh, yeah, no worries. But anyone who has missed that, these are the two lines that I've added. They're like at the top. Let me move out of your hair, and now we can focus again on this. No, I don't know exactly why is that happening. Sometimes some things just don't work. Okay, let's run the application again. So Streamlit run main.py. Okay, that's running. We already have it open. Let's reload it. Also, while I was on a break, I thought like what else? Like there's a question, why are we using Streamlit? And why can't we do it on Jupyter Notebook? I thought hard about it, and I think another reason would be to on sharing. Okay, let's say you want to share this with someone. If you have it deployed on Streamlit Community Cloud, which I checked, allows you to actually deploy something for free. Okay, on Streamlit, you just have a .streamlit extension at the end of it in the URL. So if you want to share that, normally you would share the Jupyter Notebook or the collab link, but here you are actually sharing a web page. So that's also another reason I can say in favor. But of course, it's totally on you. What you would like to use, I can say. Yep. Yeah, user interfaces as well. We will get to it. So, okay, coming back. So, what have we done till now? We have just loaded our CSV file. Now, let's see the actual Streamlit in action as well. So, like, what can we add which makes it more like user friendly, more appealing? So, you see this line where we have df new and everything. I am going to come here. So, there is like space here. Okay. So on this line right here, let me also hide this so you can focus more on the screen. We can define a variable chart underscore type, and we are going to use a sidebar. Okay, so if I go to Streamlit documentation, there is a sidebar. So it's adding widgets which you can interact with it. Now there's no output shown here. So let me like show it to you how it is supposed to look by adding it directly. So st dot sidebar, and we will add radio buttons to it. Okay. Now the title of the radio button is going to be select chart type, and there would be an array of multiple charts. So the first one, we will call it as view data table. Now this is not the perfect way to write code. Let me also like stress on that. This is not the best way to write the particular code. Like when we add more and more functions, it would look very ugly. So when towards the end of the session, if we have time, we can talk about how you could improve it, the code and the structuring and the formatting and everything. So right now I have added a sidebar, and it will have radio buttons on it. The title of the sidebar is going to be select chart type, and it will show up array of strings. The first string is going to be view data table. Okay. And I'm going to do one quick thing. I don't like the word df underscore new there, the variable name, because it's just very confusing. So we'll rename it as df. Okay. And what else? Now let's do a quick if else condition. So if I'm going to say if chart underscore type double equals to this particular word. Okay. So if chart double equals to view data table, if that is the case, then what you have to do is just show this st dot data frame. Okay, so only if someone clicks on a radio button whose title is view data table, then you have to show this st dot data frame. Let's move over. Let's rerun. And now you see, this is where the visual elements come into play. So there is a chart type. Since there is only one option, it shows like view data table. Let me add another random option. So to add another option, you can just do a comma, another temp option. Okay, now if I go back, rerun. So there's like there are two radio buttons. So view data table, it will show the table. If you click on another temp option, there's no output shown for it. Okay, so it becomes empty, it becomes blank. So I hope this kind of gives you an idea how we are going to use Streamlit. So view data table gives us the data table, which is nice and yeah, more useful. And we have radio buttons. So now we can understand how the whole radio button functionality works. Uh, okay. Indentation error. So the error here says expected an indented block after if on line 22. So let's go on line 22. What is on my line 22? So if there is a colon here, and when you hit enter, it has like four spaces here. Okay, there's like not two. There are two spaces coming because it is inside the main function, and there are like four spaces coming because it is inside if. If this faint line is visible to you, so there's like a line of if. So your code needs to be inside that. Okay. So assuming this is what it is, I think this is what the problem is. You have to press a tab to go inside. Okay. You can actually like do click on tab button twice, and it should take you where you need to be. And it says source file changed, but nothing changed. But yeah, so there is the first thing. We have a view data table. Now let's move on to the next part of the code, which is to visualize the first visualization. All my visualizations, I'm going to create a separate file. So if you open the sidebar, if you have closed it, click on new file, We'll call it visualizations.py. So I have created a new file where all my visualizations are going to go, just so that it's easy to keep track of all the visualizations. So step one, what are we going to do? We are going to create a horizontal bar chart that will show the top companies based on the market cap. Okay. So we'll plot the market cap distribution, you can say, like based on the market cap, which are the top companies, like visualize it in a graph format. So for that, we are going to use matplotlib. So you can do import matplotlib dot pyplot as plt. So from matplotlib, like matplotlib is a big library. From that, we actually only want to use the Python plotting. So that is why matplotlib.pyplot, and we are renaming it as plt. So let's go over to PyPy and search matplotlib. So install matplotlib, you do a pip install matplotlib. It installs everything. And where's the documentation? Yeah, I think this should be it. If you open that, go on to tutorials, PyPlot tutorial. So there, that's where I'm getting the whole code from, in a way, that import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Okay. So we are going to create something like this bar chart, but in a horizontal manner. Okay, coming back. Are we using matplotlib? Yes. So import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. If you want to install it, this is what you need to run. I will share that in the chat in your in your shell. But thanks to Replit, we don't have to do it. So that's good. Okay, so now let's create a function. We'll call it as plot market cap distribution. It takes in, let's say, one thing right now, just the data frame. Okay, it takes the data frame. We'll create, yeah, hit enter. There's some space here, okay, indented space. We'll create a new variable. We'll call it df underscore sorted, which, as the name suggests, it will actually sort the values. So df dot sort underscore values. So what is this df? So df, if you remember, it's nothing but the pandas. Okay. So we are saying that take this data frame that comes, it has like pandas wrapped around it. So from that, please sort the values by what? Okay. Now we need to give it a name of a column. So in this case, I'm going to tell it that sort it by this market cap USD. So inside this, I'm going to say sorted by market cap USD. Normally, a sorting always understands or thinks that it is ascending sorting. But in our case, we are going to tell it that ascending equals to false. Basically, one another way of saying sort it descending. Okay, so that one with the highest market cap should come on top, and then the next one, then the next one, then the next one, blah blah blah. Okay, now let's create something called as subplots. So if you go over here and you search in the documentation for subplots, loads of them, but I think something like this. Okay, So we are going to use this subplots way, where, remember, PLT is our matplotlib. So we are going to say that, like, you could do things like this. You can give it a figure size, that this is would be my size of the figure, width and height. You can give it a color where you can see where it is being added. Layout constrained, it should be inside that. You can give it a title here, figure, set title of the axis, okay, location left, font style, font size, like so many things. So we are going to actually use some stuff from here to write our code. So let's do fig comma ax. So this is one way of saying that two things are going to be returned from plt dot subplots. Okay, two variables are going to be returned. The first variable is called as figure or fig, and ax is the second variable. These are two things that are returned from this plt.subplots, which we saw right here. I'm not defining anything inside here. It's not needed right now, but will describe as and when we go forward. Because once you see the output, that's when you will understand, okay, these are the problems, and we'll find solution to those problems. Now ax, okay, I'm going to say there is something called as bar h on it, which basically says that uh, make a horizontal bar. But now on the horizontal bar, we need to define what are going to be in our axis. But before that, we also need to tell it how many companies to plot. So I'm going to create another variable right here. We'll call it like top companies, and that is equal to df underscore sorted dot head, like which top companies to plot. And now I'm going to tell it that from this top companies on one of the axis, okay, now would anyone like to take a guess, like which axis is this going to plot first? Anyone? Like whatever. So I'm basically defining that we need to give it, you need to make a horizontal bar chart, and this is saying that on one of the axis you need to add something, on the other axis you need something else, like plot this versus this. So this first one, what do you think it's going to be? Okay, x, y. Oops. So I'm going to say that some people have guessed it as x, some people has guessed it as y. And since y it's horizontal, some people are saying, okay, y. Let's say. And on the other axis, we are going to tell it to plot something else. So we are going to say that on the other axis, please plot the market cap USD. So this thing. Okay. People have said why. So companies are going to come on. Oh, why am I saying companies? It's called company. So that's the column name. Okay. So top companies, company, and top companies. Perfect. So that's that. And now let's set some label. So there's on one axis, there would be company. There on other axis, there would be market cap USD. It's a horizontal bar chart. So, okay, I'll go with what people are saying. Probably this should be on Y and this should be on X. But then someone has posted that uh, ax dot bar h is x comma y. So this would be on x axis, this would be on y axis. Let's check it out. So set x label, it's going to be on the x axis, it's going to be actually market cap USD. Okay. So on the x axis, this is the label, which basically means that this thing is plotted on x. And similarly, we will say y label is going to be company. And you can give it a title. So ax dot set underscore title, it's going to be, let's say, top how many companies. Okay, so right now I'm going to leave that as two dashes, just so that you can see what does this like dot head return, how many values does this return. Okay, and I'm also going to say that at the end of it, return the figure. So this is our whole function, plot market cap distribution, where we are doing a bunch of things here and returning the figure. I've not added few things which we will see once, and then we will add it. And I'll also show you at the end of it, uh, like what all I want to do in these sessions. So when I made my own, when I was doing the practice for this session, I also wrote bunch of code, so I can show that to you, like what I want an output to be from these sessions, like my end goal from these sessions. Okay, let's come back and let's give this a title. So the title, the second title is going to be market cap distribution. Market cap distribution. That's going to be my title for the second one. And so now let's come to our if else. I am in the line of if. Okay, please notice this. I am actually writing in the line of if. So if chart type is view data table, we know that we have to render this out. Else if, which in Python is actually elif, okay, a short form of else if. So elif chart underscore type, it is equal to this particular text that we have written. So in double inverted commas, market cap distribution colon. So if that is the case, then you need to do something. But what do you need to do? We need to call our function. So we'll create a variable, call it fig. Okay. It has nothing to do with the fig here. But because we are returning the figure, that's why I have kept the name similar. The same way what we had done here. We are using a df variable here, returning df. That's why I kept the name df here. Okay. Makes it easy. Now we have to call our function. What is our function called? It's called as plot market cap distribution. So I'm going to copy that. Wow, that's hidden. So I'm going to copy that, paste it right here, and it needs an input. What does it need as input? It needs the data frame as input. What is our data frame stored in? It's stored in this variable. So I'm going to add that. So we have called our function, but we have not imported it. It's not in the same file. In this case, it was in the same file, so we didn't have to import it. In this case, but in the case of calling from another file, we have to import it. So let's do that. Like the way you do it is you say from the name of the file, that is visualizations. You don't have to add the .py there. So from visualizations, import, and it's good to add it inside a bracket and the function name. So from visualizations, import this particular function. And now, as you can see, there's no red squiggly lines under this. And to show something on Streamlit, you just need to do, in case of at least, I think there is something in the documentation. Yeah, to display a matplotlib figure, okay, display a matplotlib.py plot figure. So if you want to display that, what you need to do is do st.pyplot the figure. So that's what I'm going to do, st.pyplot figure, where fig is this particular variable, okay? Line number 27. Okay, I think that should be enough. Let's say rerun. No module named matplotlib. We have not installed it, if you remember. I just said that uh, Replit will take care of it, but we still need to hit this run button for that magic to work. So let's hit that run button, let it install. Meanwhile, now I'll go over to the questions. So sorry for the delay. Uh, okay, so there was a question, and I think there was a beautiful answer for that and understanding. So I think that's all good. Uh, but yeah, you can think of it as says in the documentation, what is fig comma ax. So there's subplots where you have, if you can define multiple figures of multiple sizes, let's say, in a way, and there is figure which talks about the figure, and this is the axis, what do you manipulate or put on the axis of it. Okay, so once you hit the run button, it will install all the stuff. Oh, also, I'm thankful to Anno Expected for answering the questions, and SWSTKK for the questions. Okay, so really thankful. You have kept the chat interactive and really appreciate all the work that's going on in answering. Okay, perfect. So this is done. It seems to have installed. So now let me just reload the page, and hopefully that should have done the trick. Okay, it doesn't seem to have done the trick. Let me go back and see. Okay, I think I should just stop this and restart it. Give it a couple of seconds, sorry. Okay, that has started. Perfect. So there it is. And on the top right, you can see it says running. That means it's running. And if I now go to market cap distribution, it's running, and we hopefully will get some output. And yes, we do. It gets me some output. What is this output? What is it sorted about? I am so confused. This output does not make any sense. Like, okay, there's a billion, like, okay, that's good. But we had companies which were in trillions, right? So why do we care about the companies in billions? Like, why is this the top? What about the ones in trillions? If you go over to data table once again, you can see like these are the companies that were in trillions. But somehow the companies that were in billions, they were sorted like went on the top. That is so unexpected. So we have to sort a bunch of things. Like Pandas doesn't understand that, oh, the word T here in this market cap USD, that means it's bigger than the word B right here. Okay. So trillion is bigger than billion. We need to tell it that. Okay. We need to kind of format this whole column so that it's more understandable to our data frame. It's more understandable to our code base. Okay, that hey, this is the bigger number, this is the smaller number, uh, blah blah blah. So we'll do all those changes, but we don't actually have too much time to start those changes and end it on time. So I will show you when like I was practicing what had I done and the things that I want to show you all at the end of it. So like this is what I want to do at the end of session. Okay, and let's say if I do apple inc dot and hit enter, it removes apple from the list. Okay, if I do comma Microsoft Corporation, okay, it removes that from the list. 20 companies. Can I increase that to 30? Yep, can do that. Okay, so this is what I want to teach at the end, like this is what I want to achieve at the end of these 3 sessions. I know we have had a slow start, but trust me, once you get around, like these 15 visualizations that I have, you'll find that so much code is just repetitive in a way, different things. Okay, so that's what I want to achieve at the end of these sessions. But right now we don't have too much time. Okay, there is you are calling st.pyplot without any arguments. After December 1st, we'll remove the ability to do that because blah, blah, blah. Okay, step one. Please make sure that you have stopped and restarted your uh, stopped and restarted Streamlit in your shell. That's the first thing. Second thing, if I am not wrong, it seems to me that there's something missing from here. Okay, so you have to return a figure, and figure is basically these two things like plt.subplots, and here I am ensuring that this is being called, like this is how it's called, and st.pyplot. If you do all those things, I don't think you should get this warning. Like at least I am not getting it yet. Could also be because I'm filtering the warnings. So if I remove that, nope, I'm still not getting it. So I think you probably have missed something in the code, which is why the error. And for this particular error, all you need to do is just like reload the whole page and restart your Streamlit application, please. It was the return. Okay, yeah, yeah, probably thought so. It probably is the return. Okay, so just have 2 minutes to the end of session. Any other questions, anyone, before I end this session? I will be back after an hour. Okay, so let me come back on screen so that I can interact with you all. Nope, this is too big. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I'll be back after an hour. Okay, I have another session, the part two of this visualization, where we will talk about the errors that we have here. How do you resolve that? Uh, Also, you can see market cap USD on x-axis, company on y-axis, but it's just so weird. Like this does not make sense. So we'll try and make sense, make our data clean. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. We are going to make the data clean. We are going to also add that slider and that text button that I showed you to filter out companies, and yeah, we'll make an improvement. How do you make the plot bigger? We'll also check that out actually. Okay, how do we make the plot bigger? How do I open the web browser through web view? So it's like you need to be very fast. I think that's the only thing that I can say. When you click on the run button, it should open the web view. If you have it open, click on this new tab and that opens the web view. Okay, so you need to be very quick about that. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for this session. And I'll see you in part two in an hour. Okay, have lunch, have dinner, uh, whatever it is, have some rest, and we'll be back to continue working on this. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, and see you in an hour. Bye bye.